Hi guys, this is Mrs. Ringrose, and some of you needed some help with slope. I've been saying for months and months, this is probably one of the most important concepts of Algebra 1, so we're just going to keep on working it until we get it right. First of all, obviously, I don't know if you guys have notebooks at home, so just take a good mental note that slope has a couple different definitions for it, and some of the things that I wanted you to remember was that slope is called a rate of change. We also know slope as the change of the rise over the run, and we also know that it's a measure of steepness. So those are all important concepts to remember, and we're going to use rise over run in this video. Basically, the main goal of this video is to be able to calculate slope looking at a graph or from 2 points, which is what I'm having you practice on Delta Math. You know the 4 types of slope. Positive goes up, negative goes down. A zero slope line is a flat or horizontal line, and a line that has an undefined slope is straight up and down. We call that a vertical line. Okay, moving on to one of the first skills you absolutely need to be able to do for me is to find the slope between 2 points on a graph. So one of the things on Delta Math, this is kind of frustrating on Delta Math, and I do get it, but on the assignment I posted, what they want you to do is to pick a point to kind of start on. So I'm going to start on this point. So if you're clicking on Delta Math, you would click on a starting point, and then you're going to count up. So in this case, I'm counting up 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And so that would be the next point that you could click on the Delta Math assignment. So you only need to click on 2 points. All those other smaller red dots, you would not actually physically click for the Delta Math to consider it correct. So then you need to, either on a separate piece of paper in your head, realize that your answer is going to be the rise. Let's see. Sorry about that. It's going to be, whoa, that's way too big. Let's try this one. The rise, I thought it was too small before, over the run, right? So how much are you moving up versus how much are you moving over? So in this particular example, I counted up 3 boxes and I counted over 9 boxes. So if this is what you're putting into Delta Math for something like this, I could go back in and give you full credit for that because that's not a very bad answer. The problem is that you should know how to reduce. So I can divide both these numbers by 3. And 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 9 divided by 3 is 3. So if I go back to my graph and I start here and I go up 1 and then I go 1, 2, 3, I'm noticing that that's also a line segment there. So I hope that kind of helped. I'm going to go through a couple more examples just so you get the hang of it. But if you feel like that's enough for you, you can stop this video at this point. Also, now that I've shown you the points, one of the other assignments on Delta Math I need you to be able to do is to use the slope formula. So the slope formula looks like this. And you can Google that. And basically what you want to do is label the points first. And when you go ahead and put them into the formula, you want to make sure that the point lines up. So 1 minus negative 2 on top is okay. But then underneath the 1, I have to put the 6 because I have to put the x that goes with that y. So then I got 6 minus negative 3. And then that changes to plus plus, and that changes to plus plus. So I'm left with 3 over 9, which reduces to 1/3, which is the same answer. So if the question is asking you to find the answer graphically, you do it with the graph and you just count boxes. Or if it's asking you to use the formula, you plug it in and you do the answer that way. And again, you're being asked to reduce it to simplest terms if you can. All right, so for another example, take this line right here. If this was on Delta Math, you can actually start on any point that you see. So we're going to practice using the y-intercept because that's always a good starting point. So if I put a point there and I count down, looks like I can count down one box and move over one box, and I'm another point on that line. So you would just, again, click on 2 points that are close together, and then that kind of forms the line for you. So again, all you should be doing on the software is click, click, and then you're done with the graphing part. And then below it wants you to submit the answer. So if you're moving down, then you need to make sure you're putting a negative on that top number. So I moved down one, I moved over one. So on a test for me, writing it like this is okay, but in Delta Math, they really want you to make it look more simple. And negative 1 divided by 1 is equal to negative 1. So that should be the answer that you want to leave. And I can still go ahead and use slope formula just to confirm that's the right one. So the 2 points that I gave you are not the 2 points I used on the graph, but that's okay. So again, I'm going to say my slope is equal to my y minus y. So negative 6 minus 4 on top, and then 4 minus negative 6 on the bottom, because I did xy on top and then I did xy on the bottom. So I have negative 10 over 10, because change. And negative 10 divided by 10 is also negative 1. So see how these two lined up with the same answer. And so now we're going to look at 2 more quick examples. Again, if you don't think you need to watch anymore, I would rather you take the time to get practicing. Go back to Delta Math, show me you know what to do. But this example, the top one, this is a vertical line. So if I want to, I can just write the word undefined, because any vertical line has an undefined slope. If I want to try to count boxes, I could start on this bottom one and count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes up. And then if I tried to count the number of boxes sideways, I would notice that there is no movement sideways. And our number in math for nothing is 0. And so my slope is 5 over 0. And if you went to a calculator and you tried to figure out what 5 divided by 0 is, it would say error. We cannot divide a number by 0 in math. Moving right along to, so this is the answer, but moving right along to trying it with the formula, I would do 1 minus negative 4 on top, and then I would do 2 minus 2 on the bottom. And so change, and I would get 5 over 0, which again is undefined. So I get the same answer. Okay, finally, hopefully you can see that line. If I go ahead and click on the starting point and I try to move up, there is 0 movement up, and then I move over to the next point. I move over 1. Then this fraction would be 0 over 1, but I should know that 0 divided by anything is equal to 0. So you really should input 0 as an answer. Don't give me a 0 over 5. Don't give me 0 over 10. Just give me 0. This is a flat line. It has 0 slope. And if I practice that with the slope formula, one final chance, it's 5 minus 5, because these are both my y's, over 7 minus negative 8. So, 0 over 15. And again, 0 divided by anything is 0. So that's an example of 4 different kinds of slope that you might get using either the formula or graphing. So I really hope this helps. If it doesn't, definitely send me an email, and I'll be happy to walk you through another example.